New World Pictures was an American independent production and multimedia company. It was founded in 1970 as a producer and distributor of motion pictures, later expanding into television production in 1984. New World eventually expanded into broadcasting with the acquisition of 7 television stations in 1993, with the broadcasting unit expanding through additional purchases made during 1994. 20th Century Fox, controlled by Rupert Murdoch, became a major investor in 1994 and purchased the company outright in 1997. The alliance with Murdoch, particularly through a group affiliation agreement with New World reached between the two companies in May 1994, helped to cement the Fox network as the 4th major U.S. television network. Although effectively defunct, it, along with various regional subsidiaries, continues to exist as holding companies within the complex 21st Century Fox corporate structure. History New World Pictures The company was founded on July 8, 1970 as New World Pictures, Limited. It was co-founded by B-movie director Roger Corman and his brother Gene, following their departure from American International Pictures. At the time, New World was the last remaining national low-budget film distributor, and was also one of the most successful independent companies in the nation. Corman hoped to continue AIP's formula at New World, making low-budget films made by new talent and distributing them internationally. However, it started out with only 10 domestic offices, and 1 each in Canada and the United Kingdom. Its films were distributed regionally by other companies. New World initially made exploitation films such as The Student Nurses and other small-scale productions. Corman helped launch the filmmaking careers of Jonathan Demme, Jonathan Kaplan, Ron Howard, Paul Bartel and Joe Dante, all of whom made some of their early films as interns for the company. New World also released foreign films from acclaimed directors such as Ingmar Bergman, Federico Fellini and Akira Kurosawa. The distribution of such films was conceived by Corman in an effort to disassociate New World as an exhibitor for exploitation films. In 1983, Corman sold New World to Larry Kippen, Harry E. Sloan and Larry A. Thompson for $16.5 million. The 3 new owners decided to take the company public. Corman retained the film library, while New World acquired home video rights to the releases. In 1984, Robert Riamaro, who formerly served as Chief Executive Officer of Evo Embassy Pictures and Universal Pictures, and had previously worked for New World as its Vice President of Sales in the 1970s, returned to the company as its new CEO. Later that year, Thompson left the company to form his own firm. In 1984, the company created 3 new divisions, New World International, which would handle distribution of New World's productions outside the United States. New World Television, a production unit focusing on television programs. And New World Video, which would handle home video distribution of films produced mainly by New World Pictures. In May 1986, New World acquired post-production facility Lionsgate Studios for $4.4 million. That November, the company acquired the Marvel Entertainment Group, the corporate parent of Marvel Comics. By early 1987, the company sold its shares in Taft Broadcasting for $17.8 million. New World Entertainment In 1987, New World acquired independent film studio Highgate Pictures and the Learning Corporation of America. By this time, New World Pictures changed its name to New World Entertainment to better reflect its range of subsidiaries besides the film studio, including its purchase of Marvel Comics. Also that year, New World almost purchased 2 toy companies, Kenner Products and Mattel, but both planned acquisitions never materialized. In the fall of 1987, New World became the 3rd in the list of prime-time series producers to the network after Laura Martella Pictures and MCA. In 1988, Michael Mann, executive producer of the hour-long syndicated program Crime Story, filed a lawsuit against New World. Around this time, New World faced a major financial slump and the company began restructuring itself. Facing insolvency, company management appealed to New World's principal lender, GE Capital, for a comprehensive debt restructuring, which would have wiped out the company's equity and left GE holding a 90% ownership stake. GE demurred, preferring an insolvency workout, and tried to force the company to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Another equity firm, Sloan & Cupin, instead pursued an aggressive program of divestitures and sales, which ultimately yielded a substantial profit to management while leaving the debt holders struggling. This began with the sale of Marvel Entertainment Group to Andrews Group in 1989. Marvel Productions was excluded from the sale. In an irony, later that year, Perelman subsequently acquired New World Entertainment, with 4-Star Television becoming a unit of the company. The bulk of its film and home video holdings were sold in January 1990 to Transatlantic Pictures, a newly formed production company founded by a consortium of former New World executives. Highgate Pictures and Learning Corporation of America was shut down in 1990. On October 7, 1991, New World sold much of its network assets to Sony Pictures Entertainment. Some television programs produced by New World, such as Santa Barbara and The Wonder Years, would remain in production by the company until their cancellations in 1993. New World would not return to producing programs for the major broadcast television networks until early 1995. In December of that year, New World formed two new divisions, New World Family Filmworks and New World Action Animation, to increase production to the growing family market by $20 million. Marvel Productions president Rick Ungar was appointed to head the two divisions. Following Marvel Entertainment Group's acquisition of Toy Biz in 1993, that company's CEO Avi Arad was named president and CEO of both New World Family Filmworks and Marvel Films, a new unit formed as a joint venture between Marvel and New World. Marvel Productions was renamed New World Animation in 1993. New World Communications In 1992, Perelman purchased SCI Television from George Gillett, acquiring the company's 7 television stations, CBS affiliates WAGA-TV in Atlanta, WJBK-TV in Detroit, WJW-TV in Cleveland, WITI-TV in Milwaukee and WTVT in Tampa. NBC affiliate KNST in San Diego, and independent station WSBK-TV in Boston. SCI had underwent several corporate restructurings following its 1987 purchase by Gillett Communications from Kohlberg Kravis Roberts. Earlier in the decade, the group then known as GCI Broadcast Services, Incorporated. had restructured after defaulting on some of its financing agreements. Eventually, the renamed SCI ran into severe financial problems, and filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in late 1992. SCI was folded into New World, following the completion of its purchase of the group by Perelman in the summer of 1993. In 1993, New World Entertainment purchased ownership stakes in syndication distribution company Genesis Entertainment and infomercial production company Guthy-Renker. With the asset expansion, the company changed its name to New World Communications. The company expanded its broadcasting holdings in January 1994 with its purchase of Argyle Television, a company partially related to Argyle Television Holdings II, which merged with Hearst Broadcasting to form Hearst Argyle Television in 1997, acquiring its 4 stations, CBS affiliates KTBC-TV in Austin, Texas and KDFW-TV in Dallas. NBC affiliate WVTM-TV in Birmingham, Alabama. And ABC affiliate KTVI in St. Louis. Then in February, New World acquired 4 of the 6 television stations owned by Citicasters, ABC affiliates WBRC-TV in Birmingham and WGHP-TV in High Point, North Carolina. NBC affiliate WDAF-TV in Kansas City, Missouri. And CBS affiliate KSAZ-TV in Phoenix. Citicasters retained ownership of ABC affiliates WKRC-TV in Cincinnati, Ohio and WTSP in St. Petersburg, Florida. In the latter case, New World opted against buying WTSP, as WTVT had the higher viewership of the 2 stations and market-wide signal coverage. The concurrent purchases of WBRC and WGHP posed issues as At the time, the Federal Communications Commission only allowed a single company to own a maximum of 12 television stations nationwide, and in the case of Birmingham, New World could not keep WBRC and WVTM in any event, as it forbade common ownership of two television stations in the same market. As a result, following the completion of the Citicasters station purchases in late March 1995, New World would then place WBRC and WGHP in a blind trust and seek buyers for both stations. Affiliation agreement and merger with Fox. The biggest deal involving New World Communications would aid in changing the face of American broadcasting. In the wake of Fox's landmark $1.58 billion deal with the National Football League on December 17, 1993, which awarded it the television rights to the National Football Conference beginning with the league's 1994 season, the network began seeking agreements with various station groups to affiliate with VHF stations that had established histories as affiliates of the Big Three broadcast television networks and therefore had higher value with advertisers, in an effort to bolster the network's newly acquired package of NFL game telecasts. Shortly after the Citicasters acquisition announcement, on May 23, 1994, New World Communications and Fox reached a multi-year affiliation agreement in which New World would switch most of its television stations to the network beginning that fall. The deal would include most of the stations that New World was in the midst of acquiring from Argyle and Citicasters, with all of the affected stations joining Fox after existing affiliation contracts with their then current network partners concluded. In exchange, Fox parent News Corporation agreed to purchase a 20% interest in New World for $500 million. New World was approached by Fox in part due to the group's expanding presence in several primary and secondary markets of NFC teams. New World, meanwhile, was concerned about the effect that the network's loss of NFC rights to Fox would have on both CBS, which was near the bottom of the network ratings at the time, and on the group's CBS-affiliated stations. The stations that became Fox affiliates had to acquire or produce additional programming to fill their broadcast days, as Fox programmed significantly fewer hours of network content than its three established major network competitors. On top of that, most of the New World stations declined to carry the Fox Kids block, a peculiarity even at a time when some ABC, NBC and CBS affiliates were still preempting portions of their network's children's program lineups. The time vacated by news programs, daytime shows and children's programs from each station's former network was filled by additional syndicated programming and, in particular, local newscasts. The deal as a whole caused a domino effect that resulted in various individual and group affiliation deals involving all four networks, affecting television stations in 30 media markets, including several where New World did not own a station. 3 New World stations were excluded from the Fox affiliation deal. In Boston, where New World owned WSBK-TV, Fox was already affiliated with WFXT, which the network would later reacquire from the Boston Celtics in July 1995. WVTM was exempted in Birmingham, as in the summer of 1995, New World sold WBRC as well as WGHP to Fox television stations, with WBRC switching to Fox after its affiliation contract with ABC expired on August 31, 1996. KNST also did not switch as Fox was already affiliated with a VHF station in the San Diego market, Tijuana, Mexico-based XETV-TV. Both KNST and WVTM retained their NBC affiliations. New World planned to sell all 3 stations as well, in order to comply with the FCC's 12-station ownership limit. In November 1994, New World sold WSBK-TV to the Paramount Stations Group subsidiary of Viacom, a new network launched on January 16, 1995 in partnership with Viacom subsidiary Paramount Television. Meanwhile, the transfer assignment applications of the Argyle stations were not filed with the FCC until sometime after New World had already completed its purchases of the 4 Citicasters stations on September 9 and October 12, 1994. New World began operating the Argyle stations through time brokerage agreements on January 19, 1995. The acquisition of the Argyle stations was completed on April 14, following the trust transfers of WBRC and WGHP. Later that year, Brandon Tartikoff, who helped NBC out of its ratings doldrums in the 1980s in his former role as president of entertainment at NBC, joined New World Communications in an executive position. Concurrently, New World acquired Tartikoff's production company Moving Target Productions. New World also acquired the remaining interest in Genesis Entertainment, which expanded upon New World's production assets into television distribution. Later in 1995, the company signed a distribution deal with NBC, in exchange for renewing the NBC affiliations for WVTM and KNST in 10-year deals. That year also saw the acquisitions of Canal Entertainment and Entertainment Magazine Premiere. In May 1996, New World sold WVTM and KNST to NBC television stations for $425 million. The two stations became owned and operated stations of NBC when the deal became final on August 14. On July 17, 1996, Fox parent News Corporation announced that it would acquire the remainder of New World Communications, for $2.48 billion in stock. When the merger with News Corporation was finalized on January 22, 1997, the former New World television stations were transferred into its Fox Television Stations subsidiary, turning the former group's 12 Fox affiliates into owned and operated stations of the network, joining WGHP and WBRC. The New World Communications name has lived on since then by the stations involved in the purchase that remain under Fox Television Stations ownership, under the names New World Communications of, or NW Communications of, originally used solely in copyright tags seen during the closing of each station's newscasts and since late June 2009, in FCC license filings as the legal licensee names for these stations. New World Pictures status. New World Pictures still exists as a legal holdings entity under 21st Century Fox for the ex-New World television stations now operating as Fox O&Os. New World Pictures was folded to 20th Century Fox. Current rights to the New World libraries. Films released from 1971 to 1983 television, Trifecta Entertainment and Media, video, New Horizons Home Video and Shout. Factory. Films released from 1984 to 1991 television, Warner Brothers. Television and Lancashire Entertainment, video, Anchor Bay Entertainment and Image Entertainment. Television programs and films broadcast, 20th Television, The Big Valley, The Death of the Incredible Hulk, Real Stories of a Highway Patrol, Universal Television Distribution, Access Hollywood, Sony Pictures Television, Get a Life, Tour of Duty, Warner Brothers. Television, Crime Story, The Wonder Years, Lancashire Entertainment, The Incredible Hulk Returns, The Trial of the Incredible Hulk, States Media, Sledgehammer. Via Alan Spencer Productions, Disney ABC Domestic Television, The Marvel Action Hour, Spider-Man, X-Men, Iron Man, the pre-1992 Library of Marvel Productions Marvel Films and Defenders of the Earth, Muppet Babies, and the all-original pre-1981 DePatie Fling Enterprises made-for-TV cartoon library. Video DVD, 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment. Anchor Bay Entertainment. Image Entertainment. Rhino Home Video. Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. And Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment. Former New World-owned television stations, a Euro station owned by a third party but operated by KDFW-TV under a local marketing agreement. A Euro stations acquired with the purchases of KSAZ-TV and WDAF-TV, but later placed in a trust for sale to Fox. New World continued to operate the stations for several months until Fox took over through time brokerage agreements in September 1995. Partial filmography. PU = film picked up for distribution by New World only. References. External links, 21st Century Fox, New World Pictures at the Internet Movie Database.